Okay, wobble wobble. Turn my camera around. Trying to get it all set up. I'm going to see if this is it. And you know what? If it's not actually working, then I'm just going to leave it because I don't want to muck around too much. I've kind of played around a bit already. And I've got to move the phone along so that you don't see, oh, sugar, my PVC piping, but that's all going to happen. So anyway, roll with it, hey? That is the way we are. Still the same. Oh, my gosh. This is frustrating me. I'm just going to carry on, okay? I'll make my apologies later, now and later, obviously. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is work with the Forever Blossoms stamp set. Oh, gee, getting a bit of reflection. Let me see if I can do this properly. So the main thing I'm going to use here is the image. So maybe if I turn it that way, you can see it all, but then you can see my lights in the top as well. Anyway, it's all too hard. Anyway, I'm using Forever Blossoms. So in order to make it a little bit quicker, as you can see, I started to colour this. Now, this card is cased from Debbie Blake, who's in Western Australia. I saw her card at a friend's place and I decided I liked it. So I'm going to case it with what I've got at home because I actually don't have everything that she had. So there'll be a little variation, few variations. So using Stay On, excuse me, because I'm using our alcohol markers, I just stamped the image like that. And that's what I came up with here. So there you go, stamped. And then I've obviously started to colour it just so that you didn't have to sit there and watch me trying to colour it all, which is probably a good thing now. So before the pizza arrived, I decided to sit and colour. So that's what I've done there. And then I'm going to use, this time around, I'm not sure if Debbie used the shimmer. She may have spritzed it later with some sparkle, but I've used the shimmer cardstock. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but there is a slight sheen, which is just really gentle, really gorgeous. So that comes up really well. So I'm going to clean my stamp. I'm kind of all over the place. Let me grab my cleaner and then give it a clean. I'm not going to be able to find it, am I? Here we go. Oh, knock the camera in the way. Use my broken one because my good one is in the toolbox for my classes. Give that a clean and a dry. There we go. So now what we're going to do is find my embossing pillow, which seems to have gone walkabout as well.
What's over there?
No, it's there. There. You knew what I was looking for, Kyle.
No,
Thank you.
I don't know. I just said it was over there. I should clean my room all, by the way.
Oh, really? You're going to
$150.
Really?
No, found like 120.
120? I'd be happy to find that if I cleaned my room, mate. Okay. So I've got my embossing buddy, my white embossing powder and the Versamark. So I'm going to use this all over my cardstock because the idea is I'm going to have my image on the outside and this image on the centre here. So therefore I need my stamp to do all the work. So I'm just going to use the buddy just over there to remove any static, especially because I've just been washing it. So, of course, this means that I'm going to need to use a heat gun, which I try not to do during my lives because it's just obviously a bit noisy. So after each stamp that I do, you obviously re-ink your image up again because that means that you're getting a clean image each time. The only time you don't want to do that is if you want generational, so various images of, you know, light and dark type thing. I'm going to turn this image around so that we don't always get the same portion on the cardstock. So you can see there with my Versamark, you can just see the image slightly. So the rest of my family have discovered House Party. They've been playing that, despite people saying that it's not always the greatest thing to have on your phone. But it means that my teens are all busy with mum and dad, my mum and dad, and my sisters and everyone. So I apologise if you can hear them in the background. Okay, cover up my Versamark. I'm working in front of the camera like I shouldn't be, as in crossing over. So there you go. It's an advantage to you guys that because my Versamark is not clean, you can actually see that image really well. So now I'm going to use an old trick that I've done with papers before because I can't reach the tray that I usually have. So if you don't have a particular tray that some companies use in order to catch your embossing powder, just use a piece of paper because it works. And you can just keep that piece of paper to use many times over, obviously, although you want to be careful that you've cleaned the paper up properly. There we go. So there you go. Now you can see, obviously, the image is even a little bit better, like that. And then you can simply pour all your paper back in. One of the women from my card group who doesn't attend anymore used to do this quite often. She didn't even necessarily want a tray in the end. She just used that to catch her embossing powder, and it worked. Okay, let me grab my heat gun and disconnect the phone and fumble through. Because the time was so tight, I actually thought maybe I don't need to do a live tonight, but I always feel so great when I get off and I love people's comments that I thought I'll push through. And I'm glad I have. I'm glad you're all here, and I'm very grateful for comments and assistance and acceptance when I've made a mistake and all that sort of thing. So thank you. All right. I'm going to use the heat gun. So we're going to get a bit loud, obviously, because it will be near the phone. G'day anyone who's joined, Roseanne and Mandy, I believe. Oh, Michelle. So it's going to get a bit loud, but I'm hoping that you'll actually be able to see the change. See up in the corner there? There we go. So it's all turning to white. Let's move that away from the phone now. And just peek through the rest of it. And it's nearly finished. Okay, thank you. There we go. So I actually quite like this. It could be a great wedding card, just like that. Like as in you cover the whole cardstock with just the white on the shimmer, and that's actually really pretty. And now, what I also noticed, now what colours have I used here? I've just, oops, with this imaging here, I've used the green, the old olive, light and dark Stampin' blends for the stems. And I've actually used the dark crumb cake on the outside here. So what I thought I would show you is just quickly, and I wish I could zoom in a little bit at the moment, but I can't, and my phone is actually hanging really precariously, I just noticed. Let me put that back in. There you go. So all I did in order to get this colouring on the outside here was I've used the dark, but I think next time I would use the light. This is crumb cake with the pen end, not the paint end. And all I've done is really lightly gone around the edge, actually quite kind of quick and rough. So there you go, you can see that there. And then using the colour lifter, and no, I used the paint end actually this time. All I did was just pulled that colour away just to remove it a little bit and soften those edges so that it's not so harsh. Just run that through a couple of times. The white will lift the colour away and just soften it a bit. And it will dry a little bit differently. So just enough shading in a sense, and you can see it's really quite rough, but just enough shading to outline the outline the image, and just to give it a little bit of shadowing. So then I had, and get some dimensionals. You know, I've got, I reckon, about 5 of these running around and being used. And do you think I could find any of them as I was looking? Not a hope, not at all. So I have chosen to cut out the 3 of the main images here, and I was going to do a Calypso Coral, which is 2 cards in 2 weeks, which is extraordinary for me. My phone is moving again, I'm so sorry. I'm going to try and put that back in without. Oh my goodness, what happened there? God. Oh, I feel like I'm in a circus. So what I was trying to show you is that I've done the Calypso Coral here. So I started in the middle with some dark, and then I used the lighter colour just on the outside to spread it out a little bit, and then use the colour lifter in a couple of places just to blend it again so that it's softer. And then I simply cut out my images, and I just need to stick them down in the way that the image is. So one goes here, like that. One, just need to find which one that is. I think it's that one. One goes like that. There you go. See, so you can see just by putting these little flowers on top, it's starting to lift it, or starting to bring it all together, I should say. My gosh, my house is noisy tonight. I apologise. There you go. Oh, let me turn it that way for you. See that? Oh my gosh, my phone's going again. I don't want to challenge the world and just say what else can possibly go wrong. I'm not about to do that. Oh, but gee, I'm not doing very well tonight. I'm so impressed that you guys are still here. Okay, so my buttons are being squished by the phone holder. Oh my gosh, this just isn't working. All I need now is for the cat to walk through the seam and we'll be complete. Okay. So there you go. We've got those 2 images there. They're going to go on top. So I will put some dimensionals behind as well. Or I might actually, because what I'm going to do, and I'll put the card like this so that it's easier for you. I'm going to put that on there. And then I'm going to put that there, but I'm thinking maybe I should put that on a border. I should put it on a mat, I beg your pardon. So I haven't even given you the sizes. My gosh, how irresponsible of me. This is 6.5 by 12, which means I need 7 by 12.5, because as I've said before, I always go by half centimetre increments. And I'm going to pull out my one bit of tape that I know is there. And can you see on this image here, you can see how much I've blended those colours on the cardstock because of the bleeding that comes through, which is exactly what you need. So removing, oh, I was going to put it on dimensionals. No one reminded me. Okay. You know what? I'll mix it up. I'll put this down like this. And then I'll put this on dimensionals. That will actually work better. So, how have we all been going for another week? I've been having a few crazy days this week. I've not coped as well as I might have, as well as I thought. And then I have days or times of doing really well, and I'm doing okay. So as long as it doesn't all happen in the same house with all the same people on the same day, I think we'll be okay. Thanks, Roseanne. And Wendy is saying it makes the white flowers pop. Yes, I agree. Are you talking in relation to the embossing? Because you may have put that a few minutes ago. I didn't see, I'm sorry. Are you talking about that? The embossing makes the flowers pop? Or are you talking about putting the colours on the white flowers? So I'm going to put it this way. Oh, I've got dimensional rubbish all over me. Put that one there. There we go. See, ta-da! That's a little bit different to what I saw today, but I'm loving, and I'll see if I can share one of Debbie's, a photo of her card later. She had put her sentiment down here, but what I might choose to do, yeah, the matte is better, isn't it? What I might choose to do is do the sentiment on the inside. So again, you always use your embossing buddy in order to get rid of that static. And then find your embossing powder wherever you threw it, because the crazy time that I've had is crazy, hazy, crazy days. And I'm going to work out a sentiment. Where did I find? Here we go. Cherish every moment. You mean so much to me. Wishing you a long life together, always and forever. Love, friend. All of me loves all of you. Oh my gosh, I don't know which one to do. I might do you mean so much to me, because that could be for a friend. It could be for mum and dad. It could be for your partner. I'm going to do that one. And again, does anyone else use their embossing buddy on their stamp like I do? I'd be interested to know. Just again, to help reduce the static so that the image is a much cleaner image on your cardstock. I'm going to do that. Ooh, oh yeah, that's okay. And I'm going to do a portion of the image, I think. Just in the corner here. And I guess what I could have done with this card is I could have mapped the inside again, like with the white, or even, not vanilla probably, because I've used the white here. But I could certainly do that. But I've chosen to do this because sometimes you don't always need a lighter colour. Soft suede, which this is it soft suede? Let me check. Yes, soft suede is okay enough to be writing directly onto it. Oh, I've spotted a mistake, have you? Can you see what I've done here with the edging? That means that I've rocked my stamp too much. So I'll show you how I'll fix that before you heat it up. So just get rid of this again. Most of that embossing powder is in there. This stuff goes everywhere, doesn't it? My goodness. I'll be feeling it on my arms for ages. Okay, So as I said, I've realised that I've made a mistake here. I've rocked my image too much. So before you heat it, you can actually get rid of it like this, just to remove that line of powder using a small brush. And that will actually remove the majority of it. If you're like me, you will still see that there's a slight line, but it's certainly better than that white image. So get ready for the heat gun. There we go. How's that? I love how that pops on the soft suede. Looks really great. And there's actually a few little speckles, which I think kind of works. That's okay. So there you go. That is my card that I managed to complete, despite everything in my little world here at home telling me not to, not to do it. So I'm really glad that I persevered. I'm really glad that you guys are here. So thank you. If you've got any questions about my products, please ask, especially because of how crazy it's been today or tonight. And I'll certainly answer them, and I'll put photos and dimensions and things up in the title of this video. So thank you, thank you, thank you for hanging around. I'm so, so grateful. You make it all worthwhile. Have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you next week again. Thanks. Bye.